Help me reach my goal and subscribe. And hit the bell icon.
Chapter 6906. The military commander nodded quickly. Don't worry about this. Although our country is not big, we still have a strong sense of responsibility. At this time, netizens all over the world admire Bertnard and Tawana. The performance of these two people, who are not afraid of power, has made everyone admire them. Especially Bertnard. Today he really pretended to be big. This is hard for Blackwater. What they are most afraid of now is that the scapegoat cannot take the blame. And they are afraid that this matter will bring them greater losses. For Blackwater, this matter is like cancer. If it is carcinoma in situ, they will be cured by surgery and removal of a part of the body tissue. But if the cancer has spread, even if the lesion is removed surgically, new lesions will emerge. If this continues, it will cost you half your life. Although the Maldivian military took a long time to deal with the situation on the spot, Elaine and Jacob were always in high spirits. This was mainly because of the $100,000 reward promised by Bertnard Arnault himself. The two of them were like riding a roller coaster. At this moment, they were so happy that they couldn't stop smiling. After the military registered the information of each guest and dealt with all the bodies, they allowed these tourists to return to their rooms to rest. It was already late at night, and many people were exhausted physically and mentally. So they all walked back with their relatives. Elaine and Jacob walked out hand in hand. The sea breeze brought a smell of blood. Elaine closed her eyes and took a deep breath, sighing. Oh, husband. I don't know why, I feel that the air in the Maldives has become sweeter. Jacob had a similar feeling, but did not realize that it was the fresh smell of blood in the air. He smiled and said, "Oh my God, I came out for a trip and got $100,000 for free. Not to mention that the air has become sweeter. I think the sea water has become sweeter." Elaine said happily, "Oh, it's New Year's Eve, and I have encountered such a good thing. This is a sign of good luck next year." As she said that, she remembered something and said disappointedly, "Oh my God. It's a loss. A huge loss." Jacob asked hurriedly, "What's wrong?" "What loss?" Elaine said with a sigh. "Oh. Claire and son-in-law didn't come to the bar tonight. If they came, wouldn't it be an additional $200,000 in compensation?" Jacob suddenly realized and blurted out, "Oh, yes. Damn. This is really a big loss. $200,000 just passed by." Elaine said, "No, I'll call them quickly to see if they can get up and register their names and information. They can say that they forgot to register when they left just now. Maybe they can still get some compensation." As she said that, she had quickened her pace. "I intend to jog back to wake Charlie and Claire up." Jacob quickly pulled her back and reminded her, "Forget it, don't bother. They have already registered, and the number of people has been counted. If you let them go now, what if they are discovered? We don't understand the local laws in the Maldives. We might be charged with fraud. It's the new year, don't do this kind of thing." Elaine stopped and sighed, "That's right. This is not like our own doorstep. It's better to be cautious. Forget it. Anyway, son-in-law can make money and doesn't care about the $200,000 anyway." At this point, she smiled and asked, "By the way, husband, how are you going to spend the $100,000 after you get it?" "How to spend it?" Jacob shook his head. I don't know, there's nothing to spend money on. Just we'll save it first. Elaine said, Save it? I've thought about it. I'll take a few days off after I go back. And then find a better place to travel. Jacob asked, Where to? Elaine bit her back teeth, Dubai. Jacob frowned and asked, Why are you going to Dubai again? Elaine said angrily, It was all your fault last time. You did those weird things and made me not have a good time in Dubai. This time, I must have a good time and spend all the $100,000. When Jacob thought of Dubai, he couldn't help but recall the painful experience of setting up a trap to pit Peter Jew last time, but ended up shooting himself in the foot. And he felt uncomfortable again. He was about to say that he would not go this time. But Elaine warned him directly. I tell you, it was you who harmed me last time. This time you must accompany me. And you must compensate me well. When the time comes, take out $50,000 to buy me a gift. Just as compensation. Chapter 69:07. Although Jacob felt that Elaine's request was quite shameless, he agreed to her request without any hesitation at this moment. The last time he went to Dubai was indeed the darkest moment of his life. If for no other reason, just to break this nightmare with his own hands. He would go to Dubai again and experience the kind of extravagance with his whole body and mind. So, he said to her, The Maldives is not far from Dubai. Why don't we let the two children return after this trip is over? And we too can fly directly from here to Dubai. Okay. Elaine said with a smile. Your idea is very good, so it's settled. Go back and have a rest quickly. And tell Claire when you get up tomorrow. That night, many people around the world stayed awake all night. But Claire slept very soundly. And only opened her eyes slowly the next morning. At this time, the entire Whitehorse Island had returned to peace. All the bodies had been transported away. And the blood left at the scene had been cleaned up. The tourists were well comforted. And even Bernard used the pain pump brought by his personal doctor overnight. His knee has no possibility of recovery in medicine. But fortunately, the technology of artificial knee replacement is very mature. The doctors plan to let him go back for treatment. But Bernard insists on staying on the island for a few more days. At least, wait until Charlie leaves. Today is the Chinese New Year's Eve. Bernard specially asked the staff on the island to decorate the entire island in Chinese style. He also bought a large number of fireworks and was sending them by plane. He planned to have a sea fireworks festival for tourists on the island tonight. After getting up, Claire didn't know what had happened last night. Seeing that Charlie hadn't gotten up yet, she washed up and made herself a cup of coffee with the capsule coffee machine in the hotel room. Then she came to the terrace facing the sea with coffee in one hand and a mobile phone in the other. During this period, she had been hiding a lot of things in her heart. And all kinds of pressure made her breathless. This scene of sitting alone by the sea can make her feel rare peace in her heart. However, this peace did not last long. Because she looked down at her mobile phone, she was immediately startled by the various push notifications on the screen. Breaking news: Maldives' Whitehorse Island suffered a terrorist attack last night. Tavanna Suite shared the thrilling live broadcast. Tavanna Suite, Whitehorse Island horror, an unexpected terrorist attack. Blackwater planned a terrorist attack. And the former world's richest man used money to save hundreds of lives. Claire was stunned. Didn't Tavanna attend a party at the Seaview Bar last night? Her parents also went, but Charlie and she didn't go. Later, she was sleepy and slept until now, that too very soundly. Could it be that a terrorist attack occurred on this island while she was asleep? Claire couldn't believe it, and quickly clicked on the news to check them one by one. There was a video news report that used the picture of Tavanna's live broadcast. When she saw her parents squatting on the ground with their heads down in the live broadcast, she realized that this incident was actually true. She quickly read many related reports. Then she found all the details. She suddenly felt extremely fortunate. Fortunately, there was Bernard. Otherwise, her parents might have met with an accident. However, after these conventional thoughts like conditioned reflexes appeared, she unconsciously had an idea in her mind. If such a big thing really happened on the island, Charlie couldn't have been unaware of it. After all, she had seen the extraordinary ability of Master Jingqing that day. And Master Jingqing also said that with his strength, he could not compare with Charlie at all. Then, with Charlie's style of doing things, he should not have stood idly by last night. Could it be that the reason why the incident last night was safe and sound was all done by Charlie? She quickly recalled that she had been watching Tawanna's live broadcast last night. After seeing her singing Assassin, she suddenly became very sleepy and slept until now. After reading the relevant news reports last night, it seems that the gangsters appeared when Tawanna was singing in the bar, which is highly consistent with the time when she fell asleep. It seems that the reason why she fell asleep must be related to Charlie. While she was thinking actively, Charlie pushed open the door, walked out of the room, stood on the edge of the terrace, stretched, and said with a smile, "Wife, you got up so early today." Claire put away her thoughts, nodded, and said, "I went to bed early yesterday, so I got up early today." After that, she looked at Charlie and said with a puzzled look, "Why did I go to bed so early yesterday? I remember that I was still watching the live broadcast at that time, and I fell asleep in a daze." Charlie smiled casually. "It may also be that you have been too tired these 2 days. You finally relaxed, and people are usually prone to fatigue." Claire asked him again, "Then when did you go to bed?" Chapter 69:08. Charlie smiled and said, "When you went to bed, I also slept too. What's wrong?" Claire shook the phone in her hand and said, "I saw on the news that there was a terrorist attack on the island last night. It was quite serious. I even saw my parents in the relevant video." Charlie pretended to be surprised and said, "Is it true? There was a terrorist attack on the island. Are Mom and Dad okay?" "They are okay." Claire admired Charlie's acting skills a little, and murmured, "The news said that it was Bernard Arnault who bribed the terrorists. So they saved everyone. There were no casualties of tourists on the island yesterday. I was thinking of going to see Mom and Dad and ask them about their situation." Charlie could only continue acting. "I didn't expect this place to be so dangerous. Let's go to Mom and Dad and ask them about the specific situation." Claire nodded and went out of the water villa with him and came to the next door. After knocking on the door for a long time, Jacob rubbed his eyes and opened the door. Seeing that it was Charlie and Claire, he yawned and said, "Hey, Claire, Charlie, why are you here so early?" Claire asked hurriedly, Dad. I saw on the news that there was a terrorist attack last night. Are you and Mom okay? We are okay. Jacob waved his hand nonchalantly. Not only are your mom and I fine, but it's a blessing in disguise. Each of us will get $100,000 in mental damages. After that, he said with regret. It's a pity that you two were not there yesterday. If you were here, you two would have received $100,000 each. Claire hurriedly said, What happened? Tell me quickly. Jacob invited the two in and described the terrifying moment of last night with exaggeration. When Claire heard that he and Elaine had also been inexplicably unconscious in the bar for a while, he knew that it was not Bertnard's money offensive that saved them last night, but Charlie, who came forward to save them. She couldn't help but look at Charlie, and saw that Charlie was listening to the story with an absorbed look on his face, as if he were very interested in what happened last night. She couldn't help but sigh in her heart. The marriage between Charlie and her was full of all kinds of lies. Even though he was a hero and saved her parents, he still had to act in front of her. This feeling really made her feel helpless. At this time, Elaine heard the noise and walked out of the bedroom. Seeing Charlie and Claire, she said excitedly, My daughter, good son-in-law, our trip to the Maldives is really worth it. We don't spend a penny, and we are earning a lot when we leave. Jacob laughed and said, I've told them about it already. Then, Jacob looked at Charlie and Claire again and said, By the way, Charlie, Claire, we discussed it and planned to go to Dubai to enjoy for a few days before going back. If you have something to do, go back first, and you don't have to accompany us. Claire knew that her parents got $200,000 in compensation this time, and it was not their style to go back home with peace of mind. So they nodded and said, Then you can plan your own itinerary. At this time, the doorbell suddenly rang outside. Jacob got up and opened the door, and saw the housekeeper Hanny standing outside the door. He said respectfully, Hello, Mr. Wilson, I'm sorry to bother you. I came here so early because I have 3 things to tell you. Jacob nodded, Go ahead, Hanny. Hanny said, The first thing is that the staff of the Chinese embassy contacted us. They want to convey to all Chinese guests that if you want to leave the island in advance and need the help of the embassy, they can arrange flights to help you return home. But it is all voluntary. If you and your family are willing to continue to stay on the island, they will not interfere. Jacob said, The embassy is quick enough. But we won't bother. Let's leave on the day of checkout. What's the second thing? Hanny said, The second thing is that our group president, Mr. Bertnard Arnault, knows that tonight is the Chinese New Year's Eve of the lunar calendar. So he specially prepared a New Year's Eve dinner in the Asian-style restaurant. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, please come there with your family and other guests on the island to celebrate the New Year. Mr. Arnault will also attend in person. At that time, we will also broadcast the Chinese Spring Festival Gala on the spot. Jacob smiled and said, The service on your island is quite considerate. By the way, why do you start the New Year's Eve dinner at 5 o'clock? Hanny said, There is a 3-hour time difference between us and China. It is 3 hours slower. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it is already 8 o'clock in the evening in China. And the Spring Festival Gala should have started. Oh, so. Jacob said with a smile, Okay, we'll be there on time. By the way, can you help me ask when your boss will give you the compensation that he promised? Hanny said hurriedly, Mr. Wilson, this is the third thing I came to you for. Please provide us with your and your family's bank account information. Our group's finance department will remit the money to you today. In addition, Mr. Wade and Ms. Wilson can also get the same compensation. Our boss said that all guests on the island will be treated equally, and each person will receive $100,000. Chapter 6909. When Jacob heard that Charlie and Claire were not at the scene last night and could still get compensation, he suddenly felt a little sour. He felt that he earned the $100,000 by risking his life. But Charlie and his daughter could get the same amount of money without going, which made his risking his life meaningless. After all, he was a top student who graduated from university, and he immediately came up with an equation in his mind. Assuming that the person on the island is X and the risk is Y, then X plus Y, which means the person on the island and the risk, is equal to 100,000. But now, X is also equal to 100,000. Substituting these two conditions, the value of Y is 0. Elaine was also subconsciously dissatisfied at this time, and muttered to Hanny, Hanny, you have to talk to your boss. We almost lost our lives in the bar yesterday. My daughter and son-in-law didn't go to the bar yesterday. If they can get $100,000, then shouldn't we at least get $200,000? It's reasonable to let us bear the risk in vain, right? Hanny said apologetically. I'm sorry, Ms. Ma. This matter was decided by the president of our group. I'm a low-level housekeeper. I don't even have the opportunity to talk to the president. So how can I be qualified to give him suggestions? Elaine was indignant. Then 150,000 is okay for us, right? At least you have to add a little more for us to make it reasonable. Hanny was embarrassed and said quickly, Ms. Ma, I will report your opinion to my supervisor. But I can't guarantee whether it will be recognized. After that, he quickly made an excuse and said, I'm sorry, Ms. Ma. I have other guests to notify. If there is nothing else, I won't bother you. Without waiting for Elaine to speak, Hanny turned and left. Elaine said angrily, their boss is too ignorant. How can they treat people who are present and those who are not present equally? Claire said helplessly, Mom, it's good enough that they can take the initiative to compensate you. Don't be picky. I don't want my part of the compensation. I'll give it to you. Elaine's face was instantly filled with joy, but she said, Oh, Claire, I don't want your money. I just think they are inhumane. I want to gain more benefits. I remember that the compensation standards in the United States are very high. If you fall down while eating in a restaurant, the restaurant can make you pay. It's $1 million or $800,000, or in dollars. Your father and I were almost killed yesterday. $200,000 each is not too much. Claire said, You also said that the compensation standard in the United States is high. But we are in the Maldives after all. $100,000 is already a lot based on the local economy. Let's not dwell on it anymore. Elaine nodded and smiled. You are right. Mom won't dwell on it. By the way, Claire, your $100,000, your father and I will each take half. But let them directly transfer it to Mom's account later, so that it will be convenient for all. Jacob was stunned and wanted to say something, but held back. He didn't dare to compete with Elaine for money. After all, for Elaine, money is harder to snatch than bones in a dog's mouth. And he didn't dare to offend her. Seeing Jacob's unhappy expression, Charlie took the initiative to say, "Dad, then I'll give you my share. You and Mom are going to Dubai this time. Have a good time, don't be like last time." Jacob was pleasantly surprised. "Oh, good son-in-law, you are not kidding, Dad, are you?" Charlie smiled and said, "How can you joke about this kind of thing? I will tell them later that the compensation for Claire and me will be paid to you and Mom, respectively." Jacob was very happy and couldn't help but hug Charlie, sighing. People say that a son-in-law is half a son. And the ancients are not deceiving me. At this time, the doorbell rang again. Jacob hurriedly turned back to open the door, muttering, "I don't know who is here again." As he opened the door, he saw that the person standing at the door was Charlie's rich client from the Middle East. Hamid looked at Jacob and asked politely, "Mr. Wilson, is Brother Wade here?" "I went to his villa just now and rang the doorbell, but no one was there. I saw your housekeeper, who said he was with you." Jacob nodded, "Yes, yes, my good son-in-law. Your client is here." After that, he said politely to Hamid, "Please come in first." Hamid waved his hand, "No, no, I won't go in. If it's convenient for Brother Wade. I want to talk to him alone." Charlie had already walked over and said with a smile, "Brother, what do you want to talk to me about?" Hamid hurriedly said, "Oh, it's about Feng Shui. I still have some questions I want to ask you, brother. Do you think we should go out for a walk and talk while walking?" "Okay." Chapter 69:10. Charlie nodded readily and agreed. He said hello to his family and walked to the beach with Hamid. Seeing that there was no one around, Hamid said anxiously, "Brother, do you think I will be in danger if I go back now? The opposition and the traitors must be watching me." Charlie said, "The traitor is easy to deal with. He must not have taken control of the situation yet. So he has to wait until you die before cooperating with the opposition. The opposition must still want to kill you. I will let Ma Kuei wait for you at the Syrian border. Let him and his men cover you back. In addition, I will notify Joseph and ask him to send someone to protect you." Hamid breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Thank you very much, brother. When I go back, I will find a way to find out the traitor and kill him. Completely eliminate the internal risks." Charlie nodded and said, "Try not to leave your base during this period. I will ask the front to arrange some masters to protect you. In addition, remember what I told you before. Find a way to make a fuss from within the opposition. Win over some vulnerable groups in the opposition. And divide them from the inside first." Hamid nodded heavily. "Okay, thank you, brother." "Thank you." Charlie asked him, "When do you plan to go back?" Hamid said, "As soon as possible. I want to take the flight tonight to Beirut first. And then cross the border to go back." Charlie nodded, "Then I won't see you off, brother. I wish you a safe journey." As the two were talking, a golf cart drove towards them from a distance. The driver was Bertnard Arnaud's assistant. And Bertnard was sitting in the front seat. He waved to Charlie from a distance with a very attentive look on his face. And shouted repeatedly, Mr. Wade, are you free? I want to talk to you." Charlie nodded, "Come over." Bernard quickly asked the driver to stop the battery car on the side of the road, and refused the assistant's kindness to help him. He touched a crutch and limped to Charlie and Hamid. Seeing that he grinned every step he took, Charlie stretched out his hand to him from a distance and made a gesture of raising the empty space. Bernard didn't understand what it meant at first, but the next moment, he found that his crippled leg was suddenly lifted by an invisible force, and his body was much lighter, and the pain disappeared instantly. He was surprised in his heart when he thought of Charlie's gesture just now. He guessed that it must be related to Charlie, and he was even more shocked. Charlie is indeed a man with great supernatural powers. He was able to summon thunder in the bar last night. That scene left a deep impression on him. He felt that even if he suffered from Alzheimer's in the future, he would never forget that earth-shaking scene. He came to Charlie as light as a swallow and immediately said respectfully, "Thank you, Mr. Wade." Charlie nodded and asked him, "Mr. Arno, do you have something to talk to me about?" Bernard said quickly, "I mainly want to thank you for everything you did last night. You saved everyone, but in the end, all the credit was attributed to me. I really don't deserve it." Charlie smiled and said, "Be honest, Mr. Arno. I can see that you can't hide your happiness on your face. You don't look ashamed at all." Bernard smiled awkwardly and said, "To be honest, Mr. Wade, from last night to now, this may be the peak of my personal reputation in this life. I dare not lie to you. I am really very happy in my heart. I rely on you to take care of me for everything." Charlie said casually, "It's not considered taking care of you. After all, you have spent money. It's normal cooperation between us." Bernard hurriedly said, "No, no, no, everything still depends on Mr. Wade's care. Otherwise, I might have died long ago." After that, he smiled slightly. Charlie paused and continued, "By the way, Mr. Wade, the President of France wants to summon me and commend me as soon as possible. I will spend New Year's Eve with you, your family, and other Chinese guests on the island tonight, and will leave for France early tomorrow morning. But don't worry about the 2 islands. I will solve them within a week. Regarding the 2 islands, if you have anything else that I need to do, you can tell me and I will deal with it together." Charlie said, "How about this, you can go back and do your own things. And when this group of guests leaves the island one after another, you can announce to the public that Whitehorse Island will be closed for rectification. I plan to use this place as a maritime base of Cataclysmic Front. It is relatively close to Colombo, and relatively convenient. When the time comes, you can come forward to say hello to the senior officials and say that Whitehorse Island is going to be rebuilt. At that time, I will let Cataclysmic Front bring construction workers to carry out the renovation. Most of the cargo ships going to Europe via the Suez Canal have to go through the Strait of Malacca from Singapore, pass through Sri Lanka, and then enter the Red Sea and cross the Suez Canal. Colombo, Sri Lanka, is an important hub on this route. Even if the ship does not stop in Colombo, it will pass through the south of Sri Lanka. Although it is still a few hundred kilometers away from the Whitehorse Island in the Maldives, it is relatively convenient. Charlie plans to transform Whitehorse Island and station a group of Cataclysmic Front soldiers, equipped with high-powered speedboats similar to those taken by Ma Kuei and others, as well as medium-sized seaplanes. If there are any problems on the route, they can provide rapid support. In addition, the Maldives has weak military strength and is unable to cover this area. Bernard Arnault said without hesitation. Don't worry, Mr. Wade. I will come forward to solve everything so that Cataclysmic Front can rest assured to construct here.